Okay, so the game we're looking at now is California. Let's take a look at the board. Well, boards. Each player has his own little mansion, and his goal is to refurnish it, and you gather points by doing so. Let's take a look at some of the other things out here. These are some loan markers that you can get to get your money. Here's money. These are worth 5 silver pieces. You got a bank that has 4 gold money in it. A couple of stores that have objects you can buy. Pile of money in the stock that gets replenished into the bank, etc. as needed. These are some victory point goals. Now these are always going to be there every game that you're going to try to accomplish. Your goal here in the game is to actually decorate or renovate your house. You start off with one space with a particular type of room, decor, whatever set up in it. Some of the pieces are just tiles to make other decor. Some of them have furniture in them in addition to the type of room that you create. And some of them have, well, a 2, that's an attic expansion that allows you to build a bigger attic. The only advantage of an attic, you can't go live in the attic, you can't build rooms there, but you can store furniture up there that maybe you're not ready to play yet. There's a pile of gifts and people who will come visiting your house because they're interested, and they may drop gifts off for you. Okay, well, there's going to be 12 turns in the game, and I think I'm going to be cheating to begin with, because you're supposed to take this bag full of room tiles and furniture and stuff. You're supposed to stack them all up into this giant pile, or several littler piles, in order to draw and replenish the store as that happens. And then at the end of days, tiles that aren't used go into the bag, and then they get picked from there at a later stage. But I don't see that as making a lot of sense in terms of mechanics. So what I'm going to be doing is drawing from the bag, putting the discards in a pile, and then sweeping them into the bag as when needed. We'll see how that works in a moment, but it just seems an easier way to play, and I'd rather not stack all kinds of stuff. Alright, so there's going to be 12 days, and each day consists of a number of rounds for the players. So when it's your own turn within a day, within those rounds, you have 2 options. You can either take a coin from the bank. That's a lot of money. It's 5 silver, and you'll see how that works. This is a first play and first look at the game, by the way, so that's why I'm a little distracted. The only reason I'm doing this, rather than maybe some more SPQR that I need to get done, is the now wife wants to play this, and I figured it would be nice to get through the kinks in the rules with you guys, rather than making someone who actually has to sit through it deal with it. Okay. So you can either take a coin for the bank, or you can buy a tile from one of the stores and put it somewhere in your mansion. Okay. Now, once either the bank or one of these stores runs out of tiles, the day is over. And then we're going to do some bookkeeping and move on to the next day. Okay, so let's look at what happens here. There's 12 days to the game, and let's see how this all works out. So one of your options, as I said, pretty simple. You can take a coin. If you take the last coin, you just ended the day, which has some effects. Now, you could also buy a tile as your other option. When you buy a tile, you have to pay an amount of money in silver equal to the number of coins that are in the bank. So if there are 4 coins in the bank, it's going to cost you quite a bit to buy a piece. So there's a big incentive to the first player, and I'll be going counterclockwise here as I always do, just to be confusing. But there's a big incentive for the first player to just grab a coin, because he can either get a coin, which seems good, or pay 4/6 of his money to get one token. And when you get that token, you have to place it on your mansion. Now, to place it on your mansion, if it's just a room, you can place it by paying an additional cost equal to any coins that are in that in the location you want to place it in. Now, some of the spaces are empty, so they're cheaper to refurbish, but you still had to pay 4 coins to get that, and then maybe something additional. If it's furniture, you have to place it on top of a room of the right color. So, for example, this would have to go on top of a green room if somebody's going to buy this dog, which is an excellent furnishing. I find dogs wonderful as both end tables and also chairs, but they don't serve well as dinner tables. Okay. So let's see what happens here. If you buy furniture and you don't have a room to place it in, you can stick it up in your attic. You only have one space in your attic at the beginning of the game, but if you buy one of these, you can expand your attic to 2 spaces and therefore have 2 pieces of furniture up at the top. Now what we see here is that none of the furniture matches any of the rooms, so people who want to buy furniture for whatever reason are just going to be stockpiling it. So when you place a tile, if it's your first tile of that color, you can place it anywhere. But if you already have that color, you must place it, any tiles of that color, adjacent, and only orthogonally, not diagonally, to the tile that's already there. So for example, since I have a blue space here, I can place this in any one of these 4 spaces. But if those spaces are filled and there's no way out for blue, I won't be able to build more blue rooms. And these rooms are defined by type somewhere or another. Just to let you know, I don't know. Somewhere or another they kind of define them in an off area, but it's not very important to either the game nor to make a lot of sense to me. Alright. I mean, you know, there's things like green is the conservatory. Well, I'm never quite sure what a conservatory is, but whatever it is, it comes with dogs as furnishing. And whatever this is, it comes with skateboards as furnishing. Okay. So now when you buy a furniture tile, like I said, you have to place it in a room of the right type. So, if I had a blue furnishing like a pool, I could put that on top of a blue room. And that could be my starting room as well. If I don't have a place to put a tile, I can't buy it. I'm not allowed to buy a tile unless I can either build it on the board or put it in my attic if it's furniture. Now, as soon as I furnish a room, there are these 6 guests who are interested in the stuff I might be furnishing. So if I bought a green furnishing, if I got a dog, this woman would come visit me. And she just wanders over to my house. And by the way, the boards are different. This is for the 4 and 5 player game. The 2 and 3 player game uses a slightly different board. I'm not sure what the differences is. Or it looks like it costs more to build your stuff. Which just makes sense because you'll have more opportunities to get gold. So she'll just come and visit me, and if there's already a guest there when she comes and visits me, she brings me a gift. And that would be cool, because, you know, that's what life's all about. Getting people to wander into your house and give you gifts. That only counts if I actually furnish a room, though. It doesn't count if I just, you know, store my dog in the attic. Those guests could be at other people's houses, in which case they wander away. In the two-player game, guests only bring a gift if there's already two guests there. It has to be kind of like a party for them. Again, that's because there's more likelihood that you'll have a guest just hanging around. It's going to be harder to take all the guests away from someone or whatever. All right. So once a day ends, and that happens, remember, as soon as the bank is empty or one of these stores is empty, then everything remaining in the stores goes back in the bag. Now, I'm going to be using a discard pile for this. And then the stores are going to be restocked by placing tiles in all the empty spaces, and there'll be 8 again. Those will be drawn from the bag, but the rules say from stacks. And then a gold coin is placed in each of the spaces in the bag. Now, after the 11th day, they say there'll be no more tiles in the draw stack, which to me means the bag will be empty, and there'll be a pile of unused tiles over there. At that point, you mix the tiles in the bag and restock the stores from those tiles. So 8 of those tiles will come back and get a second shot at them. I don't think there's going to be a good chance that there'll be 8. Less than 8 in there. Let's see. And then you play one more turn after that restocking, which seems pretty limited. Okay. There are these bonus cards. These are goals that you're going to be aiming for. And the way these work is if you match their requirements, and they don't have to be in the shape presented. So if you have 3 purple rooms, if you're the first person to get that, you can claim this tile, and that's going to be 3 victory points for you. In this case, if you have a furnished blue and a furnished red, you get those victory points for those tiles. I don't think you actually need the particular pieces of furniture. Let me see. Oh no, you need the actual pieces. So you need an actual swimming pool and a grand piano to get those victory points. You need a dog and a pool table to play fetch or whatever with to get that. And you need a lot of noise making for that. I don't know what the, rationale behind these is. This one, you need sets of 3 colors for those. And they don't have to be in that pattern. They just have to be on your board. You're allowed to take out 1 loan. And you put this next to your assets, and you grab 3 silver coins. And you can pay that back by paying 4 silver coins at any time, including at the end of the game. Because if you have a loan outstanding at the end of the game, you lose some victory points. Okay, so what is the points for the game? 1 point for each gift you accumulate. And that's really, I think, where most of the points are going to... That's where most of the struggle for the points may come from. You also get points for your victory point cards, which maybe that's going to be more of a goal at the beginning when you're trying to build these sets of colors so that you can get a chance at getting those extra points that may be harder to get at other times. And then you get 1 point for each space that has a tile, a printed tile on it. If you actually decorate your rooms at all, you get a point for each of those. So just aiming for these isn't enough. You want to get your tiles too, right? These are just bonuses, as are the gifts. And then you lose 2 points for having a loan. And you win the game if you have the most points, which is pretty simple. Ties are broken by the person with the most money. Looks pretty simple. Says it plays in about an hour. I'm going to play this out in 5 players, see what happens. And then I'll end up playing the 2-player game, not on camera. Maybe come back with some additional thoughts on that, not probably just words over on the Geek in the thread. All right, let's see how it goes.